The Cowboy fans are doing it right. We got the signage, we got the great food, we got the inflatables. Thoughts on today's game?
We're gonna beat the shit out of them.
Woo! You see this right here? How do you feel about today's game?
We better win, that's all I know.
How do you feel about Dak Prescott after last week's performance?
Dak Prescott has been very consistent with the division. He has took us back-to-back 12-5 seasons. You know what I mean? He has winning records above. You can say what you want about the past 7 years, but on our division, he has been owning it for years.
Are you a Dak rider or are you a Dak hater?
Before he broke his finger, I was a rider. Now, nah. They need to let him go now.
You know Dak Prescott's watching this right now, right? Actually follows the Camp Fan podcast.
Look.
Go! We got it, son! Let's go, baby! Cowboys Nation, son! Let's go! Cowboys Nation represent! Cowboys Nation represent! Let's go! Get out of here!
Crack 'em if you got 'em.
Crack 'em if you got 'em, son. All day, every day.
Crack 'em if you got 'em, Seattle.
Here we are at Lumen Field. And is that a Harry Potter reference? Maybe. I don't know. I've casted a lot of Lumen spells.
Lumen videos.
We want to see Deuce represent. We want to see him repeat. I want some repeats. And I don't need 3 beats if they repeat.
I don't need 3 beats.
I don't need
if
3
they
beats.
repeat.
If they repeat. Let's go.
You don't think we're gonna make the postseason?
Maybe wild card.
So this is
Maybe wild card.
This is where I'm like, I'm good for a good ribbing, but like to say we're not gonna make the postseason, now I can't even argue with you because you've sucked. Oh God.
You know it too. You know it.
Who's your quarterback? This is our year.
Look at those beers. Look at those beers. Look at those beers. Look at those beers. Let's go!
Let's go, Cowboys! Let's go, baby! Cowboys Nation showing
Most pristine athletes in modern history playing in the NFL. Even the offensive linemen are incredibly athletic. I mean, these guys are over 300 pounds and, you know, they can
Not only the size, but the speed of the linemen? Are you kidding
fly
me?
on the field.
You're telling me a guy that's 330 pounds meant to block a guy that's 290 pounds is faster than me? A sporty 240?
High 240. High 240. High 240.
I could beat any one of those guys right now, and I've drank a 6-pack.
What? You're wearing Crocs!
My 40 time is better than any of them.
Erroneous! Erroneous!
Erroneous!
Erroneous on all accounts!
I've never been more sure of anything in my life.
How'd I do?
13-5.
Final quarter. Here we go, baby!
CD for the CD, baby!
And I'm going for 2. Woo! I don't know why my safety was just playing off so far.
Tackle him!
Yeah, well, I might be a boomer, but you sound like a pipsqueak. You don't even know how old I am.
No!
You little shit. You didn't win the game, I lost it!
Make sure you know where he is, because he understands how to
Call
get
that a
open
throw?
in key situations.
I might be old, but at least I don't still piss my pants.
Protect you and your loved ones with Crackem VPN.
Ever heard the game Marry, Kill? Okay, like, yeah, I'm gonna give you 3 people, and you're gonna decide who will you marry, who will you kill.
Okay.
Jerry Jones, Dak Prescott, and Tony Romo.
Marry Jerry. He's got all the monies. Probably Tony. Dak Prescott. Gotta kill him.
I'm gonna Romo.
She's gonna with Romo.
I'm gonna marry Dak.
She's gonna marry Dak.
I'm gonna kill Jones.
She's gonna kill Jerry Jones. Who will you marry kill between Jerry Jones, Dak Prescott, and then Tony Romo?
I'm out.
Jerry Jones, you.
So Jerry?
Jerry Jones, you.
Okay.
You.
Who will you marry, Dak Prescott or Tony Romo?
Tony Romo.
Tony Romo.
So that means you would kill Dak?
Yes.
Marry Dak, kill Jerry Jones,
Jerry Jones, poor Jerry.
Tony Romo.
Why not? He's probably one of the best commentators, announcers on the game right now.
Tony Romo? That's mine. That's mine.
Jerry Jones, right now. Right now.
You heard it here, guys. You heard it.
We need trash can.
Oh, here we go.
AJ, you have to sleep in this for the night. Yep. Football we already got. AJ's trying to take a piss right now. Trash can.
Stickers.
Stickers.
Couple stickies.
Couple stickies?
Yes. So we got a trash can. We're gonna go test it out in the toy aisle.
You're not getting it first.
First try.
He's not getting it. Give these guys a shot. They'll win a jersey if they get it. Oh, none of us made it. Come on, Dad. You get a free Cowboys jersey if you get it. None of us have made it. Dad's going for a shot. Come on, let's get it. Oh, that was the closest one.
Felt like the closest.
That gross?
Yeah. We all missed it, so don't worry about it. We missed it. You guys going to the game tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Us too.
Not only are we giving away 3 jerseys for whoever can toss a football into that can, we're also going to be leaving the can so someone can take that home too.
Look, there's still practicing Dolly Parton set.
Guys, what are you doing here?
Game day, baby.
Game day, baby. Woo!
Kickoff's a month away.
Yeah, but we gotta get our reps in.
Yeah. They train, we train. Crack 'em, bro.
No, it's 7:30 and it's a Wednesday.
Road pop?
Oh! No, I'm going to work and I'm driving. Get out of my car.
You got him.
Super Bowl! Super Bowl! Super Bowl!
Let's get
Prove it.
Boosh it, baby! 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 You want it and you're ready.
You just been boosted.
Crack 'em if you got 'em, baby, on this Wednesday night. I said crack 'em if you got 'em on this Wednesday night. This is not AI. That is real.
That's a real song.
That was a real song on the Wednesday.
Suck on my nuts.
Eat our assholes.
Oh my God. Okay, we end. Viewership is just plummeting right now.
Plummeting! Hey, YouTube! We
Come
know
back
you.
to us. I swear we're talking about Dallas Cowboys stuff. We're not trying to rap or be AI. Come back.
We're setting a tone.
Viewership.
We're setting a tone.
Okay, you can never be worried. The one thing I've learned in this show game or this show business podcasting realm, you can't chase the views. You just got to be you.
Hey, you can chase the dragon, but you'll never get it. You'll never get it again.
You'll never get that
That's what
first
they
hit.
say.
You'll never get that first hit.
Hey,
crack 'em if you. Speaking of first hit, yeah, get it in ya. Crack 'em if you got 'em.
The shakes.
The shakes stop. I'm just
first sip.
gonna say this right now. We are past that debacle of a game last week. I'm still getting messages from people trying to draw me in, and I go, oh, you still caught up on that, huh?
Case in point in chat, we had someone do a drive-by on us before show.
Well, give us some backstory.
In the chat, we have Turbo Duran who says, bang, bang, it's New Orleans Saints gang. My quarterback DC4 is better than your overpaid quarterback, Miss Dak Prescott. Thumb emoji down, F the Cowgirls.
He thumb emoji down
Angry emoji, F the Eagles too. They are next. Devil emoji, purple. Later, y'all. Peace sign. Razor scooter.
I wonder how long he was just waiting until we went live to do that.
Did he just fucking...
He razor scooter?
Guaranteed.
Did he razor scooter over here, kick dirt and sand in our face, and then fucking razor scoot away?
And he looks like an aggro 16-year-old.
Yeah. Guaranteed he unsubscribed as he did that. He got it, had the alert set, hit it. Hit it and quit it.
I hate to say it, guys. High praise to that move.
Yeah, that's
You're going to razor scooter over.
We can't be bad about it, but...
And throw a bird at us?
We're past it.
We're past it.
We're past it! Stop bringing it up!
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Can you give up on it? It's over with, okay?
Yeah, you're right.
This episode is supposed to be all about...
Don't worry.
The Baltimore Ravens.
It's all over soon.
We also have Jax in the chat. He goes, hey, Kings, it's the Star Access. So
what up? Oh, hey, Star Access. Yeah, I chat with him on Instagram. What's up, brother? Appreciate you hopping in. Chat, we appreciate everyone that stopped in. And hey, it's a new week 3 in the NFL. Kicks off tomorrow. And we got a big one against the Baltimore Ravens, who, guys, I'm just going to say it right now, started off 0-2 and are in desperation mode. They are that Raven that has been bit by that dog that bit AJ in Thailand. Or cat, whatever, monkey, whatever he got bit by.
I got bit by the cat, and I was attacked by a pack of savage animals.
Okay, so this is that Raven that got bit by the same. This is the Raven AJ bit after he came back and transferred your rabies to the Raven.
Yep.
And they're backed in a corner. And these Ravens, man, the statistics say if you start off the season 0-2, you already have a hard road to the NFL postseason. If you start off 0-3, you can almost kiss your playoff chances away.
Playoffs?
So they're backed in a corner, and they're going to come out swinging.
Swinging those big, heavy, as everyone knows, those big, heavy Raven cocks.
Yeah. Maybe I need to get rid of all of my Limp Bizkit aggro sound bites coming in, because I feel like they're going to...
It's just one of those days where you don't want to wake up. Everything is fucked. Everybody sucks.
Yeah, they're backed in the corner.
And they're coming...
Guaranteed a bunch of those Ravens are listening to some angry Limp Bizkit before they get out on that field. But
Lamar Jackson only exclusively listens to LIMP.
0-2,
right,
guys. 0-2. No joke.
Also, there was some big news on the last couple days here.
We're already going into news mode.
Well, it affects everyone.
Jerry Jones died.
And it might as well be Puff Diddy.
Oh, yeah.
Arrested and refused bail for having
a bunch of
what I like to call
a bunch of bottles of baby oil or something.
1,000 bottles of baby oil. He's smuggling baby oil. This is what I get from the story. He's a baby oil smuggler. He's been smuggling it for years, and he's hoarding it. And there's a shortage, and I think this is what the.
Does he know about the next pandemic coming up and the baby? Like, why though? Why would he have that? That's a whole nother story.
Anyway, sorry, no. The actual big news is, and you tell me if it's big, if this compares, is Carlos Watkins re-signed by the Cowboys after Phillips, defensive tackle, gets put on IR.
Well, did you hear the? Yeah, you mean? You mean Colston? Adam? What? Stop saying random numbers.
No, they're getting it wrong. Adam's getting it wrong. There's no Phillips on the Cowboys.
But did you hear the conspiracy or the controversy behind the Phillips IR move?
Yeah. Well, I heard just other people's takes on it. You and I were talking about that.
Well,
just
dish it out.
So they're just saying that.
Well, not there. Phillips is saying
that he was forced to go on IR with his hand. He could have just taped it up, use it as a club, but
they asked him.
They said we need you to go on IR.
They asked him,
his poor performance.
So he was asked by a reporter, "Oh, you're too hurt to play," and his response was, "You need to go talk to the people in charge and make the decisions."
Which he's like, now you just shoved your like you had a shit performance and now you're shoving everybody else under the bus.
Not to mention, you look at his PFF grade, it looks like he's pissing blood.
Oh,
so get him, IR him right to the, put him right to the IR.
He should be going to the IR for his piss.
Yeah,
definitely.
First off,
First off, get on the IR for that dehydrated pee because you ain't doing shit out there.
I don't want. I wasn't bringing it up to spend a lot of time on it because I don't think it's like
it's a full show.
He sucks. Get him into IR.
Get him into IR. But I'm saying Carlos Watkins. He had his best season with the Cowboys. I believe it's 2021 or 2022. One of the two. 2021 it was, and let's see what happens. It's not like bringing back Hankins, but even still, Hankins is a year older. So, anyways, I didn't want to make too much of it. I don't think I think it's a nothing story really, except for that's an interesting tidbit I didn't know.
Hey man, it's
get him off my field. I don't want to see him out there anymore. Jerry, chill.
I thought that was your Zim.
No,
your
Zimmer. Zimmer. Jerry, you know how I get.
Did Zimmer get bit by that raven?
Well, we need Zimmer to be angry like that. This is because this past weekend, all we saw was Zimmer like this.
Yeah, I want to see the first soundbite of Zimmer getting at someone in while he's wearing that dark navy blue.
Yeah,
PBH.
I mean, talking about Carlos Watkins coming back because Phillips is on injury. Is that a segue for the injury report that's coming out? Because there's a couple heavy hitters on that are listed on there right now.
For the Ravens, at least, there is. Yeah.
No, but for the Cowboys right now, too.
What injury?
Well, Lamb has an ankle injury. Diggs has a sore foot. And
I think
Mozzie's also hurt, too, as well.
I did see the Mozzie stuff. I saw the Mozzie.
Now, whether or not they're going to be out.
Well,
it's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday, so
it's tough.
All the little things. And it tells you a DNP is the main one you're looking for. If they practiced on...
Let's get into it.
Let's see it.
Let's get into that chance.
So this is the Ravens. Let's check out the Cowboys first, and then we'll jump over to those rabid Ravens.
Diggs is done.
So questionable for the top three. But look at Phillips. That's that dehydrated 29.6 color. Look at that.
Phillips is the guy who comes on the boys trip, and we're getting older, so guys are bringing hydration materials. We're going to the 7-Eleven for Pedialytes. Right? Like we're stocking.
You have to.
But Phillips refuses to drink anything but beer and liquor the whole weekend, and this is what he ends up with.
Yeah, and that you end up on the IR doing that.
Yeah, because I'm looking at a different list, though, too, because Diggs did a DNP, right? That's what you were talking about?
Yeah, but so you're looking at the one showing Wednesday he did not practice, right? Like there's the other ones, but they're just showing that Diggs is questionable, Ferguson's questionable, Malik Hooker's questionable. Did all three of those guys add DNP this week?
Okay, yeah. So right now, Diggs is DNP, CeeDee Lamb is DNP, and Smith is DNP.
What about Ferguson and Hooker?
Ferguson is limited.
Okay, so that's good. What about Hooker?
And Hooker, we got limited.
So you'll get CeeDee Lamb and those guys. You'll get
Give
vet
them the
days.
day off,
Yeah,
right?
you'll get vet days on Wednesdays. So Wednesday's a tricky one. I know we do our show on the Wednesday, but it's tricky to take too much into the injury report this early. Like you got Ferguson who missed the first two games, who's limited, who better be playing. Now we said at the start, if you're 60%, stay out. This type of game right now is if you're 60, 70%, we need Ferguson in there.
We need that dog.
We need that dog, man.
Yeah, and I'd like to see John Stevens at some point, but Ferguson, top priority. Give him all of the Project V.
Oh, go up one. They had this chart here. I think it might have been go up.
Yeah,
one.
that's
the chart right there.
Yeah, that's the one chart I saw, and then I was looking at something different here.
Of course, it's on X. X.com.
X gonna give it to you.
Gonna give it to you.
So that's Cowboy. Oh, look it's fucking little tiny ass rating.
Star Access is sharing this live to his followers. We appreciate that.
We
Just
appreciate
a big
it.
shout out there.
So this is the Ravens. This is the Ravens one.
This is Ravens, yeah.
You got. I'm not even a fuck AJ. Give a chance there, buddy. Give a chance of that first name.
Don't know what the first name. Oh, okay.
Malasala
Amaveilalu. Malasala Amaveilalu.
Lalu. I mean, and he's a guard.
We'll call him MAL.
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 And then you got Jalen Armour Davis. He's out. Kyle Hamilton. This is the biggest one.
If he's out, that's
huge.
Good news for us.
But the thing with this, we were also saying this at the exact same time last week about what the fuck's his name? Lattimore. Marcus Lattimore. Oh,
didn't matter.
If Lattimore's out, this is going to be a cakewalk. CeeDee Lamb's going to have 14,000 yards. Well, fast forward now, we know that wasn't the case. Deontay Hardy's limited. Adesai Isaac, hamstring full participation. Ronnie Stanley, tackle, ankle, did not practice. Kyle Van Noy, another big one, eye, groin. That's a weird one.
Eye and groin? What the?
That's a 69 injury right there.
And possibly, I mean, I don't know how long some of these guys have been on this list, but it could be the same thing. Hey, we have such an important game. You take as much rest this week.
Yep.
Sit in the room, get game film going, get some of the theory down, and then we'll get you in rotation to lock it in for that scheme.
And then you got
Friday.
Nate Wiggins, cornerback, neck concussion. What do we got for those Cowboys?
Well, they wrote theirs
Holy
in
moly.
fucking size 7 font. Here we go.
AJ, roll through this.
We got Cooks just getting a rest day. Diggs with his foot did not practice. Again, probably more just rest up that sweet baby's foot. Ferguson, knee limited. Hooker, shoulder limited. Kendricks, just a resting that old man up. Neeland has a calf injury, but he practiced in full. D-Law, rest day. CeeDee Lamb, ankle. Geez, here we keep going. Jordan Lewis, rest day. He's an old man too, eh? Zach Martin, rest, but also they needed to make note that he's got a knee.
Don't forget his knee. Asterisk.
Yeah. Muzzy Smith back, did not practice. That's one to keep watching. And John Stevens Jr., tight end here.
Limited, though.
Limited hamstring. So he's been on his way back to the field. Now it's just... Look, the time for him to show up would have been last week.
Yeah.
But now if Ferguson's going to be back on the field, there's no reason to really rush Stevens if that's the case. If he's 2 weeks away, let's say.
Wednesday's a little bit
tough to say.
There's still, you got Thursday. The main one's the Friday kind of status to see what's going on.
That's the tell.
But a lot of guys up there, and this is the thing. We talk about it after the first day of training camp, your team's not healthy anymore. So it's a battle of who can stay the healthiest. Everyone's seeing this in fantasy football right now. What team can stay the healthiest? It's the same in the NFL. You got to stay healthy to win games. And I still think the Cowboys haven't had any huge injuries, but we'll see how that plays in going into Sunday against the Ravens.
That was from our boy Neckbeard Nick.
Neckbeard Nick, love his takes.
Love your take. Appreciate the content. Here's the big. This can lead right into our conversation now because I know someone is going to be talking about the Dallas Cowboys. Well, we have the question, how are they going to stop the Ravens? And a big problem with the Ravens is their ability to run the ball, especially with the addition of King Henry, the big bad boy, as I like to call him, the big bad boy who needs a big bad bear bad boy's bear bum spanking.
Can't spank
it's a mouthful.
Can't spank a king.
But now the Cowboys are even more weak in that DT position. Let's consider Mazzy Smith a healthy scratch, or a non-healthy scratch, I guess. Just consider him not in the game. Big, massive hole in the middle of the field, and we are going to be going against a team that can run the ball down your throat.
A guy that's bigger, a guy running the football that's bigger than any of your linebackers.
Yeah. 240.
Derrick Henry's a massive human being. And maybe that plays, granted, he can run you over, but maybe it plays into the Cowboys defense a little bit better because Kamara is so damn shifty. Maybe a slower guy. I don't know. I'm trying to just cope with myself right now, right? I'm just trying to cope with having to play two great backs back to back. And it's going to be a tall order. You've seen how the Cowboys defense looked against the Saints, and that's the number one thing going into the Ravens game, in my mind, is having to stop the run, whether it be Derrick Henry or even Lamar Jackson. You can't let Lamar Jackson beat you with his legs.
Can't let Lamar Jackson beat you with his legs, nor can you let Derrick Henry beat you with his body. But that's I think what the scary thing is, that 1-2 punch. I think they're going to have what Kamara had, and they're going to have a little extra with Derrick Henry. Did you guys want to hop into the shootout?
Sure.
I mean,
do you want me to be the Ravens guy?
You be the Ravens guy. Well, look, we're supposed to have someone on. No knock. Our boy Arthur Hurst was going to come on and speak about the Ravens. Unfortunately, he got ill, and he's got no voice.
And not illmatic like the BC Boys.
I got no voice.
Couldn't it just sign language the whole time?
No, well, that's what I suggested. But
well, coming on with us, he probably wouldn't get a chance to talk anay, so it's.
I'd just be like talking over him. No. So I'm gonna be the Raven guy.
Okay, you be well. So we'll try to
rabbit ant.
We'll try to be devil's advocate, but we each are going to bring up a reason or a thing that the Cowboys need to do.
Let's just get into it. Play the soundbite.
I just want to hear this.
Same.
This is where we do the intro, but it's just us.
Go ahead, skin it. Skin that smoke wagon and see what happens.
Welcome to the showdown, week 3.
Shootout.
Sorry, we joked about this happening.
Anthony is
We joked about this happening.
This is why we're doing the dry run, boys. This is why we're doing
the shootout. Welcome to the shootout.
All right.
Oh, man. Hey, I'm just the Raven fan. Okay?
Yeah, you're the Raven fan who doesn't know our gosh darn segment, you idiot.
Well, I think that's why I think we need to have some voiceovers in there, and then it says it itself. Like the crack 'em player of the game. See, I don't get that one wrong.
You don't get that one because...
Well, technically, what would be happening is either myself or Adam or...
Yeah, definitely not me.
Yeah, either myself or Adam.
I've exited myself from that conversation.
Which one? A couple times we'll throw it at you just because we know it's going to be locked in as the showdown now. But we announced. But anyways, let's get into it,
It's like AJ
guys.
with Malik.
Yeah.
Shootout showdown.
I know it's Malik, but
I'm trumped.
You're trumped. You got trumped up.
I got trumped up.
So we each had homework, and we just for conversation's sake, we wanted to try to bring a different angle of how the Dallas Cowboys can beat the Ravens. And so I don't know. Anyone want to kick off first?
Yeah, I'll start off. What were you gonna say? Just say.
Well, I was gonna say maybe we could start out with the most obvious, but yeah, go for it.
Yeah, go most obvious.
I think most obvious is the stopping the run game. So stopping the run game between the dual threat quarterback Lamar Jackson.
Can we get some stats up? Can we just get Lamar Jackson stats or Derrick Henry stats?
Yeah,
up?
AJ will put them up. I grabbed them for my notations here that I'll go through.
Yeah.
But if we're looking at the 2024 season, so small capture point, it's hard when you're looking at September ball. It takes about 4 weeks for the NFL to really see truly what a run defense is looking like or a run offense is looking like. But ultimately right now, for 2024, Lamar Jackson on 21 attempts has 167 yards. He has an 8-yard average. His longest run's been 25 yards, and he has 1 touchdown off of a rush. And Derrick Henry's complimenting him with 31 attempts, 130 yards, 4.2 yards per attempt. His longest run's been 29 yards. So when you're looking at a powerhouse, collectively together, the two of them, they have, close to 300 yards. Oh, here, let me put that on the screen for you guys. As I'm not used to being the one talking here. So, I lost my sheet here. Oh my God. So in terms of what do they need to do? A couple points. Obviously we saw Alvin Kamara, just destroy the Cowboys on the perimeter run game. So looking at somebody like Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, we need to really fill in those gaps and more specifically contain Lamar Jackson. So having those outside edge rushers contain him. I heard Zimmer after on the Monday press conference, they were asking, are they going to use DeMarvion Overshown as the QB spy on Lamar Jackson? He said, I don't know, it might be Micah. So obviously they're not going to tell the game plan on what's going to happen, but we need to see some discipline run defense from our guys. They have to hit their assignments. If you're in a run zone defensive coverage, just stay in it. Don't get mixed up or tripped up, because a lot of the stuff that was happening last week with the Saints was running those play action schemes and fooling the Cowboys in terms of where they're going, and they're just doing a simple pin and pull run offense. So, containing the outside with those edge rushers.
What was Lamar's rushing stats?
I have him down as 21 attempts for 167 yards.
21 attempts for 167 yards. So,
over 2 games.
So he's rushing for 80, just over 80 a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just over for 80 a game and 1 touchdown. So that's pretty good. If the Lamar Jackson running the football is way better than any of the Cowboys running backs right now. And most of those runs are probably coming in on third down, passing down situations where the play breaks down. So you're saying you think you need to have a guy like Overshown or one of the speedier linebackers kind of spy him a little bit?
Well, yeah. So ultimately, a guy like Lamar Jackson, and when Cowboys play these dual threat QBs, they tend to let up a lot of yardage from that quarterback. So obviously, in terms of who the threat number one, it is going to be Lamar Jackson, and I think it's going to be on his feet, because if we can keep him in the pocket and force him to throw the ball, then now we're going to rely on our secondaries to either lock down their receivers. I mean, they have younger receivers like Zay Flowers, who hasn't really produced a lot in his time on the field. So again, using that inexperience, but they also have the dual threats of Isaiah Likely and the tight end Mark Andrews, right?
You look at Lamar Jackson's rushing yards per game over his career, and it's all right in that area, which is crazy. He's right in that 50 to 60 yard rushing. And right now he's on pace to have one of his better seasons rushing. Granted, it's only the 2 games, but when it comes to rushing, who's more important to stop, you guys think, Derrick Henry or Lamar Jackson?
Derrick Henry. If Derrick Henry rushes for over 100 yards, they have a 70% chance at winning the game.
So he hasn't ran for more than 70 yards in either of the first games?
Well, no, he has a 70%. The Ravens have a 70% chance.
They unlucky hit that.
So
30%.
he has to hit above 100 yards in a game.
Is this that's with his career?
No, I mean, typically I'm thinking it's pulling it from the 2024 stats, because we didn't want to look at his post stuff.
No, but I'm just saying, because 2 games, it's hard to take much from any of the.
Has he hit over 100 yards this season?
No, I don't know.
And that's probably why they're 0-2.
Yeah.
So you're saying if Derrick Henry has over 100 yards, and I feel like that's kind of anytime the Cowboys play anyone, when a running back runs for more than 100 yards, how often do the Cowboys win that game? Just on personal experience, without even stats involved, how often does it feel like when a running back's the best player on the field, do the Cowboys lose when it's the opposing team? Almost every time.
I don't know that they have lost when the Cowboys have had the best running game on the field.
No, sorry, I mean like at the opposing team. Like if the opposing team has a guy over 100 yards, the Cowboys essentially lose the game.
Yeah, they don't play well against, especially when it's one player who's getting not like a committee.
Yeah, you think back to any times this year it was Alvin Kamara, obviously. Last year it was Singletary or Cook, with the Bills, who had a bunch of yards and just ran over the Cowboys. I just can't remember a time where the Dallas Cowboys faced a running game that played well and then they were still in the game. It's like it totally takes their whole defensive minds out of it. And the Cowboys defense just isn't really built to stop the run. We've talked about this since CanFan's been in existence, that we need to have these big defensive tackles and these linebackers that could stop the run. And speaking from 2024, it felt like against the Browns, maybe they had the blueprint, but you were playing against a guy like Jerome Ford, who isn't in the same league as a guy like Alvin Kamara, and definitely isn't in the league as a guy like Derrick Henry. So I agree with Ad that if you're thinking of a guy you have to stop from running, you can't let Derrick Henry take over the game. You can't let him have 100+ yards and multiple touchdowns.
Yeah, and Deshaun Watson, we saw Overshown spy Deshaun Watson, and Deshaun Watson has mobility, but he's not as elusive as Lamar Jackson. Listen to this stat, and then we can move on to one of your boys' points. Lamar Jackson, when he rushes for over 75 yards, they have a 67% win rate for their games. So if Lamar Jackson starts to rush the ball more and he rushes for more than 75 yards in a game, there's a 67% chance, which also doesn't seem that high. Like it's just above 50%. But if Lamar Jackson is moving the ball with his feet, we're going to have problems. And I think it just opens up far more plays. You do have, again, that dual threats for tight ends. So I think keeping him contained in the pocket is going to be key, and then hoping everybody else does their assignments. That disciplinary on the defense is going to be critical. Not to mention, when you talk about the run game, what happened? Our guys were weak on the run, so our guys were getting bullied by the Saints' offensive line. We can't come into week 3 and have our defensive line get pushed around by Ravens.
Like a bunch of little bitches.
Yeah, they need to get in there.
Well, it could be a rough one, knowing all this rushing and then that center of the field's weak. But hey,
how nice would you guys feel if the Cowboys do limit this rushing team like the Ravens, who, like Ad said, have very good rushing at quarterback and at running back? how nice would it be if the Cowboys defense bounces back
Yes.
against Baltimore
Yes,
and holds
boy.
them to, I mean, I'm saying even if you hold them as a team under 135 yards, I think that's
Oh,
a,
yeah.
a pretty good win. I mean, as a team, right?
Yeah.
Like you're going to get Lamar Jackson averages over 60 yards this year, but his career, he's averaged pretty close to 60. And then Derrick Henry's, well, we all know Derrick Henry. So if they can keep the Ravens to under 135 yards, I think that would be a huge win and will definitely help the game plan.
I also think it's stopping those rushes where they're pivotal, like 3rd and longs, those types of scenarios, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8. Stopping those, because if it's 1st and 10 and Jackson breaks off a 10 or 12-yard run, okay, that sucks.
Yep.
But we're expecting a couple of those throughout the game, right?
Absolutely.
It's the ones that have the opportunity to get the ball back without the Ravens being able to put any points on the board.
They're soul crushing for fans. Imagine what it's like. You've been on the field for 8 plays and you get this team to 3rd and 8 and they pick up
You've locked down the coverage.
Yeah,
and
then they pick up a scramble or something and end up picking it up. So yeah, stopping the running games.
It's demoralizing.
Oh, fucking right. The key to beating the Ravens with shutting one of the reasons anyway, shutting down the running attack so that Lamar Jackson has to throw is essentially what you're getting at.
Has to throw, especially in those moments where he wants to run.
Yep.
Okay. So let's stop stopping the run. I mean, I think
an obvious one, however, much different details than what I've been hearing. So,
what were some of the other details that you were thinking? Because you could add some pie to the top. This is a friendly chat.
No, I'm just saying it's obvious. Actually, haven't really heard anything broken down in detail, really. I'm just saying it's obvious that when you ask, it's like, oh, you got to stop Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
You know.
But
there's that Isaiah Likely who's
he had his huge first game. Second game, he wasn't there as much. But when you talk about the dual threat in the rushing game, the short game for the tight ends, like if you're doing those slants or those tight end routes, Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely are a pretty deadly duo. I mean, Isaiah Likely, you would have thought he was a wide receiver in that first game that he played, but when against the Chiefs.
Well, I'll go next.
You go next.
So I've just been really, I know it's kind of a lot of the reaction to what I think is the Cowboys needing to improve their running game. And I mean, how do they do that? I think that they need to scare the defense a little and make them respect that deep ball a little bit more. But when I say this to people, the reaction I kind of get is like, no, that's not, we need to deal with defense first or defensive tackle first. It's like, yes, I totally agree.
Shit.
Yeah. But
there's multiple things.
There's multiple things.
You could come up with 10 things that the Cowboys need to do differently than last week to win against the Baltimore Ravens, really.
Everything. But my point just being is like, this is still something I think is going to be a headache for the Cowboys, even though we look back at last week. I'm not putting the blame on offense, but I think that this is something that the Cowboys need to try to focus on this week. And it's kind of matching the run game to hold on to the football. And but before I really go into my really small explanation there's a real cool video. Can I say cool still? Is that a hip?
No.
Yep.
There's a real
oh my God, Duck, go,
Welcome to,
baby.
This episode is not sponsored by Duck.
Hang in the NFL. It's not my opinion.
Is this dweeb?
Let me reset the.
this?
This is this was a good video. I like that you shared this one.
Well, it kind of just goes to my point in the importance of the run game, which is something that the Cowboys have obviously, at least the last 2 seasons, not put a lot of thought or effort into it. They kind of lucked out with that 1-2 punch with Zeke and Tony Pollard 3 years ago. And now, and also, I don't think we've seen very much effort put into finding a
replacement,
a replacement, or a really solid number 2 for the Cowboys. But nothing against Cooks. Love Cooks. But let's listen to this video.
Shout out to Frank Michael Smith on IG, and that's just at Frank Michael Smith.
All one word.
This little video.
He's a handsome stud. Let's hear what he has to say.
20K likes.
This is about the NFL passing game dying.
game is slowly dying in the NFL. It's not my opinion. The stats more than back it up. It's especially strange considering Roger Goodell has done everything in his power to make the NFL a passing league. Here's the hard stats. Teams average just 188.3 yards passing in week 1. Now, at first glance, you might say, well, it is just 1 week. Let's not overreact. I agree, but there's a much larger trend at play. Let's look at full seasons. Back in 1992, NFL teams started averaging over 200 yards passing per game. This grew and got much larger in the 2010s after rule changes like defenseless receiver, roughing the passer, and targeting. Obviously, these helped, but not as much as you'd think. Average passing actually peaked at 243 yards back in 2015. It's been downhill since then. The last 2 seasons both came in at 218. Think about it like this. The last time the NFL average was below 220 was back in 2009. Kendall Baker of Yahoo Sports touched on this and credited Jake Grossman with this wild graph titled, "Is it time to run the damn ball?" The lines you see are based off EPA or expected points added.
AJ just picked this video because of this one chart.
Yeah. Hey,
Chart J?
I love these stats.
Dude, hey, I'm just going to say right now, very well done video.
Really well done.
And you would have never expected this. I like it. Sorry, I just needed to interject there.
Yeah. So this is based on we're going into the EPA of it. This kind of is the whole honeypot.
EPA's kind of that's what everything's based off of.
Yeah, it's a very simple metric. If you don't understand EPA, don't worry.
I'm not going to explain it to you. Okay?
No, I went and looked at it today. It's simply there's a bunch of there's point opportunity if you're on the 1 yard line and if you're on the 99 yard line, 99 yards away from your opponent or 1 yard, right? And then there's point opportunities if it's first down, second down, third down. So basically, how EPA works is they follow that trajectory across the field as a team moves, and they determine, did you end up with more points than expected as you get closer to actually scoring or less? You tally, so if you have a 1% chance and then you move up to a 10% chance, you've moved up 9%. They just do it in points though. Long story short, you calculate that throughout a game. For players, for offenses, for defenses, and then for teams, and it gives you earns points per average. That's how they come to it. It's real. Maybe I didn't explain it very well, but it's a really simple concept.
You had me as I didn't know what it was this week. I had to look it up.
Yeah.
And it's all plays, red line is running plays, and blue is passing. The gold line is interesting here. Since 2020, the EPA of all plays has been trending down, which means offense as a whole has been less effective. Now, the intersection of the red and blue lines is fascinating. The pendulum has officially swung. For the first time, rushing plays have a higher EPA than passing plays, and it's not even close. Running the ball is officially back and more effective than ever. I'm Fred Mickle-Smith, and that's my take.
And we got 4 great backs.
Now, there's a few additional notes to add to this, and then I'll just wrap my point up here. But passing yards per game have had their lowest average yards since 1992, and it did go up a little. I think it went up to around 200 from this, just including week 2. But it's still significantly lower and following this trajectory downward. They've also had the lowest touchdowns per game since 1991. Which is like 1.1.
Well, we noticed this last year, too. I'm going to say this, and we didn't go into EPA or anything fancy, but we were talking about, and we've been saying this actually, I think, since 2021, especially you, AJ, saying how we thought defenses were going to start making a comeback.
Yeah.
And, is it the defense is getting better? Is it them offense is going back to running plays? You don't know, but the passing game is shrinking. That's kind of the takeaway I'm getting from this.
That's the takeaway. And my thoughts on that is I think that the defense has to be the first ones to evolutionize the game, because if they don't, then the offense will just keep doing what's working.
Yep.
The offense can make adjustments to increase the technical aspect of the game, but only to a certain point where it becomes like, why are you adjusting things? What you have is working. So the defense needs to shift to mutate the offense, right?
It's kind of like in jail, right? The prisoners are always trying to come up with newer stuff, and the guards are trying to catch them.
But you can't until you know what they're doing.
You can't catch them unless you can't catch them unless they've beat you with something.
So I'm sure it works both ways, but that's just my thought. Is like
they hit the showers.
Defense would adjust to the new things the offense is doing, and then the offense then adjusts to beat the defense. And I think we're in that defense adjustment phase where the defense is doing things that the offense has not experienced yet. And that could be a contribution. Last half of this is the rushing yards per game have gone up. They've had the most average rushing yards since the 1980s. In the 1980s, the rushing yards were like 130 average per game. Like, it was insane.
It was just battle. Everyone just get yourself a stud, get yourself self a stud running back, and hammer the hole.
It was insane. And then touchdowns per game, it's not a lot, but when we're talking about points, it's gone 0.9 for the last 7 years straight, and there was even a 1 average. So every game there was a rushing touchdown scored for every game in the NFL. And before that, it was lingering around 0.7, 0.8. So obviously small increase, but significant in terms of percentage. And final thing, why I think that this matters on top of that is we've only had 17 of our attempts go to CeeDee Lamb out of 72. 17 attempts, targets have been CeeDee Lamb out of 72 pass attempts from Dak Prescott. That's only 23%. You really want that for a stud like CeeDee up to be at least above 30 and probably closer to like 35, taking 1/3 of those receptions going towards CeeDee Lamb. The reason I bring that point up is because I was harping on the Cowboys needing better options. And that still may be true. But the fact is, when I saw this stat, I was like, oh, well, first of all, let's start feeding CeeDee Lamb the ball. And then I went to my next thing was like, okay, well, what about the run game of the Cowboys? And that led me down this kind of rabbit hole here. So long story short, what I'm getting to is the Cowboys need to implement the run game in a way that's effective for them so that they can use it throughout the whole game. It doesn't have to be the 15-yard breaking runs that we're seeing, but it needs to be when you are 3rd and 6, you are able to pick up that 6 down instead of having to rely on passing. Because they'll just, in this point, I don't, with that CeeDee Lamb stat, you don't know, is it because they're double covering CeeDee and so you don't throw the ball to him, obviously. But anyways, that's my thought here. A little bit of a flip from yours.
Yeah, but yours was on the offensive side, which is good.
Side.
Bryson actually from Carving Up podcast has a question based off of your EPA stat.
Nope. He can text me back. He can text me back. I'm not talking to him. No, I'm just kidding.
You go and say it in Bryce's voice. Do y'all think it has something to do with the defenses playing more than ever to stop the pass? Therefore, offenses are working against less stacked boxes than they used to?
100%.
Hasn't checked. Just a suggestion. I haven't checked the tape on that specifically.
Well, AJ just said it with the 3rd and 6. These guys are trying to lock down a passing play. Start scheming up to maybe throw a running play at 3rd and 6. In passing situations, maybe offenses are now trying to go, well, the defense has figured out these 3rd and 6 passing plays. Let's maybe shift the algorithm over to running the ball again.
I was listening to other coaches. It was weird. I was listening to coaches talk about this today on my drive home. Actually, on Bill Belichick's podcast, there's three coaches. Bill Belichick.
Bill doesn't fucking coach in the NFL, you liar.
Former coach Bill Belichick.
Oh, former coach.
Former coach Bill Belichick.
Future Cowboys coach
Bill Belichick. Future Cowboys coach Bill Belichick. And they were talking about that. They said that we're not seeing those explosive passing plays, but guys are open. There are guys downfield that are wide open, and they're just not getting tossed to.
But how's that relevant to the running game?
I'm talking about how passing's down.
Why passing's going down.
Oh, wide's down.
Yeah, and then so we will see a rise in run game. We will see a rise in running backs being considered more valuable to their teams. Right now, we're just in a supply-demand scenario where there's a lot of players who can get the yards that they need. This is, I hope it's not too long to explain. I don't think it will be in my mind, but let's see.
So too long.
So, yeah, too long. So, to answer Bryce's questions, I think it's a little bit like the home run issue, if you want to call it that, in baseball, whereas players they've ran the analytics and they're like, just swing for the fences. It's better that you hit the home run than you try to get a single or double just based on your odds, right? And it comes down to points per bat or whatever. So I think it's the same thing with offenses. Is they were like, it's just better for us to do these bigger pass plays because the opportunities that those bring us, even if we miss twice in a row, the third one is a better opportunity than if we try to run it 3 times in a row. I think that's how it kind of breaks down when you go to look at the analytics. But the thing is, the analytics can only catch up after the point, right?
Well, they're always behind.
It's always going to be behind. So as defenses have said, okay, handcuff us, Robert Goodell, in the NFL.
With fuzzy handcuffs, though. Fuzzy navy blue braced handcuffs.
And they need to be strong enough that my hands don't rip out, but if I wanted to, I could rip them out.
Yeah,
I
like
could
fun
rip
ones,
out.
like fun handcuffs.
But basically what's happened is they've really tried to produce an offensive game, as most sports do, because scoring sells to people who don't watch the sport. So I think we experienced that throughout the early 2000s, but then defenses just will catch up. They become smart. They're like, fine, take away everything. Now I'm going to scheme this differently. Okay, I can't put my hands on your defender downfield. Fine, then I'll just get to the quarterback before he can pass the ball. And there's just those little. It's an ebb and flow, and you're in the
counterpunch.
We're in that counterpunch time right now, and I don't know how long it lasts. Maybe it's a year, maybe it's 10 years.
Well, it looks like, just judging by how it went up, how the offenses went up, it was over like a 20, 25 year.
Oh yeah, it's
kind of like a wave a little bit.
It's a long trend because you also have to get the players to be trained from college to fit those roles, and come in ready. Like, think about rushing quarterbacks. I'm sure there was a lot of quarterbacks who could have been trained to also be athletic on their feet. They just never did back in the 80s and 90s, really.
They didn't have to.
Because they didn't have to.
They had running backs.
It was not part of the game. Now, as we move forward, it's going to be hard-pressed that we don't see an agile quarterback. In fact, someone like Josh Allen might be considered the least agile QB in the league in 5 years or something.
Name a quarterback right now, and I know we're doing a Can Fan side quest right now, but name a quarterback in the NFL that isn't able to run for a 10-yard first down if they had the opportunity.
I hate to say it, but Dak Prescott
That
maybe with
could
those
do
flat.
it.
No, he could.
do it. I mean, like a Peyton Manning, an Eli Manning, a Phillip
Even
Rivers.
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins can still wheel, and he's like on the back end of that, right?
And he didn't come up in this new age.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So all the
starting quarterback.
All the new starting quarterbacks can pick up a first down if they need to. But back to your point of the running game, the one thing I wanted to say too about it getting a little bit how it's coming back, maybe a counter to it is not having one bell cow running back, but having these multiple guys that have different skill sets in different situations.
Well, we've seen that grow.
Exactly. You've seen it in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
You used to never have having three running backs.
Was bad.
You look in 2000, I think it was 2012. I was looking at how the fantasy football first round draft was, and it was like 9 of the 12 positions taken were running backs. So every team essentially
had... Because it was only 26 or something.
Yeah, almost every team had a bell cow running back, which that is gone essentially.
Yeah. Boots is saying Aaron Rodgers can't run.
Now, because he's 40, but I mean...
And with a
busted up Achilles, but I mean, coming in, any quarterback that's going to come in, think of any of the quarterbacks that were drafted in the first round this year or prior years, even last year, they're all mobile.
I love this game. Before we
say goodbye to Jonah Hill for Moneyball,
crack
him if you can. Going all these stats guy here.
Well, hey, that's what I do, and that's what you expect from me. We got People's Champ, we got
Stat Boy,
and then we got Angry Ant.
Angry Ant.
What do you think of that? 17 of 72 attempts have gone. Only 17 passes have gone to CeeDee Lamb this year so far in 2 games.
That's bad.
Expected?
I felt it was expected just based on him not being through training camp and just still trying to go to him, but not in every scenario. I think we're going to start seeing that ramping up a bit more now that we're in week 3. And
that's just attempts.
That's just attempts.
That's terrible.
So out of the 7,
it's not that's not reception.
That's terrible.
What's CeeDee Lamb's total targets?
17.
17
Sorry,
total targets.
Catches on those total targets.
He had 5. I think he has 10 or 11.
We're just gonna check it. While he's checking that there,
we'll just say it. Just read chat.
Jenkins Gaming says, "What do you guys think about us calling Aaron Donald? Jerry calling Aaron Donald?
He already said he doesn't want to play.
Yeah.
So I'd love it if you could convince him somehow. Yeah, get him in there. Bring him in.
9 receptions.
9 receptions. So he had 4 last week and 5 the week before, I think. So that's terrible.
That's what you know, that's what I expect Tolbert or Cooks to be getting.
I expect CeeDee Lamb's stat line right there. 9 receptions, 17 targets, 151 yards, and a touchdown.
12-25.
I want that every game.
I want 12. Yeah, yes.
At least target him 17 times, man. The issue is look below it. Like there just hasn't been a lot of. That's not a lot of targets, anyways. Tolbert, why the hell's Tolbert getting 11?
Yeah.
Guess he's open. I don't know.
And that's, I thought when I first jumped into this, I was like, had this thought that, oh man, the Cowboys need a burner. And I still think that they do need someone. And they might be on the team. They're just not utilizing that person, forcing the defense to respect the deep ball on the Cowboys, which would help the run game just by making sure the defense is taking a half set. Yeah, stretching the field. But I digress. But what my initial thought was, Tolbert's getting the ball, or sorry, we're not throwing the ball to Tolbert. We're not throwing the ball to Cooks. But then when I came here, I was like, actually, this is probably in line with what I expect them on terms of a percentage basis.
Oh, totally.
Except for I reversed it, my thought, and I was like, oh, they're not getting the ball too little. They're getting Tolbert might be getting the ball a little too much. And
the issue is not having Ferguson there.
Yep.
Ferguson was a big blow to that offense, and we saw it with those two interceptions. Mind you, the Brooks one was a fall down, but I wonder if Scooney was there because he was throwing to the part of the field. You could see that, right? If Ferguson was there, I wonder if Ferguson would have got that pass instead of Brooks, where he slipped and Dak ended up throwing that interception. But anyways, Anth, enough of me. Pat me on the back.
Hey, I liked your stat. I liked your charts and your stat, Jade. Mine's just going to be simple math. It's going to be the Cowboys to beat the Baltimore Ravens have to stop settling for field goals.
Oh, yeah.
Week 1, Brandon Aubrey, 4 field goals. So that's 12 points. Week 2, Brandon Aubrey, 4 field goals. That's 12 points. Let's do some quick math here. How many points did the Cowboys have last week?
19.
So what's 19 take away 12?
Don't do this to us.
7. The
Seven.
offense. Seven. 6 because Aubrey kicked the point after.
Right.
Anyone else other than Brandon Aubrey last week against the Saints scored 6 points.
Yuck.
That's dog shit, man. That's terrible. And then go back to the Browns game. Brandon Aubrey had how many? 12? How many did the
15 points he had?
Well,
was
15 total with touchdowns. But so what's 33 take away the 12 that he had? 21.
Yep, thank you.
Then take away his other 3.
I'm sitting in. I'm
so
like.
now you're at 18. So Brandon Aubrey, and then take away the 6 that Turpin scored on special teams.
Oof.
What did the offense do? Fuck all, essentially. In the first 2 games, the offense has not scored touchdowns when the offense needs to score touchdowns. 8 field goals by your kicker in the first 2 weeks, especially in a week where you just got your asses handed to you, is not enough. Think about it on the first 2 drives where the Cowboys settled for field goals. If they get touchdowns in those, at that point, the game stays a lot more manageable going forward, especially into the second half.
Well, I'm really glad because I think that me and you both kind of, and not to single Adam out, I know that he's going to take this bad, but you just went defense, and that was, you did a great job, pat you on the back. But a lot of people have this negative reaction whenever you bring up something about offense. It's like, but defense needs to be fit. And it's like, yes, I know, but that's obvious.
The defense sucked. The defense sucked, and I hope, if I take anything that we've talked about, I hope the defense holds. Like, if we could pick anything of all of our stuff, sure, I would love for Brandon Aubrey to have another forward field goals. Because if we hold Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson to under 135 yards, I think 4 field goals and a touchdown could win.
Well, let's say Carlos Watkins walks in and is
dick out.
Dick in. Just like, hey, I think I got a little baby armadillo leg hanging out here.
Like, I'm back.
Is this an armadillo tail?
I'm back.
But let's say that he comes out, does his job super well. There is still this, in my opinion, glaring issue on offense where we are pretty fucking weak outside of...
You're kicking field goals.
We're kicking field goals. We're not able to... We're getting to the 40-yard line.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Like we're moving from
great. You have a kicker that hits every 50-yard field goal, which is amazing.
No,
that's good in a.
But
that's
I know
good in a 21-21 game where you get the ball and you need to get to the 40-yard line to win the game.
Yes,
that's amazing. It's not amazing when you get to the 40 or 30-yard line and you're like, oh well, we're just not good enough to get another 10 yards, so we're gonna kick the ball at the start of the game.
I'm just gonna take a knee here. We're gonna bring in Aubrey.
Yeah, bring Aubrey.
Aubrey,
we hit the 35. Just bring out Aubrey.
And obviously, we should address the most crucial issues first. So I'm not saying that people are stupid for saying that, but I'm just sometimes shocked by the like pushback where it's like so. Am I shocked? No, I shouldn't say that. That's stupid of me. But it's so focused on like, we can't talk about anything else until the nose tackles are fixed. And then we can move our conversation to the next issue.
You want to hear a little side story about stopping the run?
Yep.
So Alvin Kamara had how many touchdowns against the Cowboys?
4.
So his record, I think, was 6 or 7 rushing touchdowns.
He's had some amazing games, dude.
Against the Minnesota Vikings 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Guess who the head coach was?
Zimmer.
Don't tell me.
Mike Zimmer.
I got your number, coach.
That's a little side quest. And sometimes that does happen. That happens. Like certain schemes, certain players.
Oh, that's why Mike Zimmer had the deer in the headlights look the whole time.
Yeah,
because he's faced that. He's faced it before.
Yeah, he had PTSD.
He had PTSD from.
It's happening again.
But I think if the Cowboys in the first 2 drives say they somehow scored the 14 points instead of settling for 6, which we saw it against the Browns, and you're like, okay, they still won.
Well, you tell me this. Adam, don't look. And don't look, you've already seen. Oh, well, Cowboys have scored 1 rushing touchdown and 2 reception touchdowns in 3 games. That's 21, like, directly offensive points.
Yeah, that's shit.
That's pretty bad.
3 games or 2 games? 2 games.
2 games. Did I say 3?
I thought you said 3, but...
I think he said 3 touchdowns.
Well, 1 rushing, 2 receptions, 3 touchdowns total. 3 pure offensive touchdowns. And they've only scored fucking 4 total with the
Turpin
return.
So that's what I mean. Aubrey's out there putting in work, and yeah, it's great to have a kicker that can make the kicks. But look what happens when you have to rely on him.
Yeah,
it's not going to work. It doesn't work in the postseason. You have to score touchdowns. We've seen the Cowboys when they lost to the Niners in 2020. I want to say 2022 when the Niners only scored 19 points and the Cowboys scored 12.
Yep.
Right? You have to be able to put touchdowns on the board. So relying on a kicker, which is great to have. We love automatic butter Aubrey. Yeah. But to beat the Baltimore Ravens this weekend, the Cowboys have to score touchdowns. They have to score on their first drive. I want to see a touchdown on the first drive. They always play better with a lead.
Yep.
Get touchdowns. Don't settle for field goals. That's my number 1 takeaway from the first 2 games.
And luckily the stat that kind of plays in that favor, you and I were talking about it before we went live. Mike McCarthy is he's won after a loss. Mike McCarthy
He's out of his fucking mind.
He's gone out of his mind, but under the Mike McCarthy era, they've won 10 out of the 11 last games. So after a loss, they've gone on to have a 10-11 record.
I know, and you said it. Did you say it in chat? Or no, sorry, Deffy said it. Maybe you also did. I can't remember, but I saw this post from Deffy. It's weird because I kind of feel the same way. He was like, "Do you feel better about week 3 than you did going into week 2? Like, do you feel more confident?"
I do.
About and it's weird.
You know what my confidence level goes going into the weeks? People always post. There's like the 8 NFL.com analysts that pick their wins. And this week, the Cowboys are the underdogs. Last week, every single NFL analyst picked Cowboys to win. I saw that, and I was like, oh, man, this is
bad mojo.
I hate it. This week, I think 3 of the 8 picked the Cowboys. I saw that. I'm like, okay, I feel better about this game just based off of that. So I've never liked when the Cowboys are the favorites. It just always makes me, even though I got all hyped up last week and I thought we were going to smash the New Orleans Saints, but this week the Cowboys are the underdogs at home. They're the underdogs. So I do like that.
Should we look at some odds here?
Yeah, let's see these goddamn odds.
Oh, we have our, did you want to roll our sponsor today?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, do it.
We
All right,
have
well,
to.
you do it. I'll go take a leak.
Okay, you go take a leak.
First, I'll say this. First leak during a live stream, main event, or Sunday service, excluding games, since draft.
And we've only taken on a sponsor so that Anth can have pee breaks mid podcast.
Okay, well, hey, this is our first time, so this as well is going to be really rocky. But guess what? We're going to do it in true Can fan style. Have you guys heard of this app called Underdog Fantasy? Let me actually bring up the script so I don't screw this up. Well, hey, make sure that we don't got the URL or anything in there that we can't show, I guess.
Yeah, or we'll just read it off this time and then
Okay.
we'll figure that out after.
Well, we're going to do this live. Basically, UnderdogFantasy.com. What is it? UnderdogFantasy.com. It's the greatest time of year again, guys, and football is back, and it's here to stay till February. I don't know if you want to read some of this too, Ad, but let me motivate our audience here.
Yeah, motivate them.
Okay. First of all, Underdog Fantasy has over 1 million fans across 33 states that got into the game last year by making picks on Underdog, and I'm sure it's more than that. 33 states.
Yeah, and if you're like me, who's not very versed in betting and needs to have it really, really simple, Underdog Fantasy is for guys like me. So an example would be you could win up to 1,000 times your money by just choosing higher or lower on your favorite players' stats, touchdowns, passing games, and more.
Okay, so how it works is you pick. It's almost like fantasy football. You pick higher or lower, and we're going to do this live right now.
Are we?
Yeah, fucking A, baby. It's more than just NFL. It's got all sports, but we only pick NFL here. And we got some bucks in the account. How much you guys want to do? We got $150 totes. Should we just throw 50? Should we put 30% into it?
Yeah, 30%.
Do 30% right now. This is gonna be our the winnings that we would do on Underdog this year is going to take us to the Super Bowl.
Do you just want to do on Dallas Cowboys Ravens game?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do that. We need to have some skin in the game, you know?
So we pull up the Cowboys, and we have a lot of awesome stats here for Dak Prescott. We have, I'll throw out a couple options for us. We can pick higher or lower, and then some of them are going to give us a what's it called? A multiplier. So, first three options here for Dak Prescott. Do you think he will throw higher? I'm just going to read them, and then we can go back and pick which one we want. Okay. Do you think he's going to throw higher or lower than 249.5 yards? Do you think he's going to throw more or lower, higher or lower than 1.5 passing touchdowns? And do you think that he'll be higher or lower on 0.5 rushing and receiving touchdowns? So he's got to get a rushing touchdown there. There are more options, but just throwing those three out there for you right now. And if you guys see anything else here on this list, let me know.
Ant's our bet specialist.
Go to the CD Lamb stuff. Let's see CD Lamb.
Hang on. Oops. And the website's actually
very user-friendly.
It's super user-friendly. It's super video gamey. I like it. A lot. So CeeDee Lamb, we got 0.5 rush or reception touchdown, which gives you a one times.
Do that. Click that.
Okay, so that'll be our one times. Then we got 85.5 rush.
No, do the receiver 78.5 and 6.5 receptions. Let's do it.
You have to pick one, so we can do two from CD, and then we got to pick one from the other team.
So do 6.5 receptions for CD.
6.5 receptions,
and then we got.
Hang on 1 sec. You know, this is the beautiful thing about this is I think we can only pick one per player. So which one do we want to do? I think the 78, because I think that it gives us a better option here. If we pick over 78.5 reception yards or over 6.5 receptions.
Yeah, do the 6.5.
Okay, over 6.5 receptions for CeeDee Lamb. Moving on. We got Dowdle. We got Ferguson, we got Cooks, we got Zeke. An interesting one for Zeke would be
the touchdowns.
Yeah.
Touchdown. Over 0.5 rushing and reception touchdowns, and that gives us a 1.43 multiplier. And now we got to pick one from the Baltimore Ravens.
Let's do it.
Which we hate to do, but
Juice us up.
But when you're betting, sometimes you just got to throw your team allegiance halfway out the door.
This is Underdog Fantasy. I like this, baby. You gotta think like the enemy a little bit.
You got to think like the enemy sometimes. And so now we're looking at Lamar Jackson. Higher or lower 214 passing yards, higher 1.5 touchdowns, or higher 0.5 rushing and reception touchdowns. So is he going to score a rushing touchdown? Then we got Derrick Henry on the other side, higher or lower, or higher than a 0.5.
I like that.
Higher than 0.5. It's a small multiplier, though.
Give me a different multiplier then.
Rushing, another multiplier?
You just did, like, what's his 0.5 multiplier?
Well, we got the multiplier already, and it's a good one at 1.43. So I think we pick like a higher or lower rush yards.
Jenkins Gaming say is 1.5.
I'd stick
Here,
with Derrick
higher or
Henry.
lower. Lamar Jackson, higher or lower than 53.5 rush yards.
Well, we looked at his stats. He's higher than that for his career.
Yeah.
So let's do higher.
Yep.
Boosh. Okay, now final step. We can either do the flex option, which means if we get 3 correct out of our $50 bet, we would. Or $50. I don't know if I'm actually allowed to say that. So, we're learning here. Okay, you can get basically 4 times the amount on a flex, or if you only get 2, then you get a little bit extra on top. Or we can just throw the whole kit and caboodle at it. Go for the 3 correct, and you get 8 times.
Man, that's how we do, baby.
That's how we do.
Okay,
baby.
so our final bet here for Underdog Fantasy, our first run through is a little rocky, but I think we got it now. CeeDee Lamb higher than 6.5 receptions. Zeke Elliott higher than 0.5 rushing and or reception touchdowns. That gives us a 1.43 multiplier. And then Lamar Jackson higher than 53.5 rush yards. Lock it in?
Lock it in, baby.
Standard edition.
Let's go, baby. We've always been underdogs too, fellas. So
and then Alex is going to finish the ad read, and then we'll move on.
Okay, I got to fix that in a sec. All right, let me finish this up, guys. Sorry. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward, and signing up is even easier. Just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with promo code CANFAN. That's CANFAN, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. So put money in, you get more money. That's how it works.
And a freebie.
That's Underdog Fantasy promo code CANFAN, CANFAN, to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit after. Must be 18 years or older, 21 or older in Massachusetts and Arizona, 19 or older in Alabama and New England, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP, or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York City, call 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY, or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. That's nice.
That's nice.
All right. Hey, woo!
We did it.
We bet, and we'll keep you up to date throughout the season on how our Underdog bets are going. I was a little disappointed. I thought we were going to let us get in on that 1-800-GAMBLER.
Yeah, so did I.
Because that first year when we don't want to talk about who we were sponsored with beforehand because it's a competing sponsor, we had fun saying that. So we'll work on that little ad read later on. And I think it's going to be a gang read,
Gangrene.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
So now do we want to look at some and listen, before we even went in, we didn't even look at the what everyone's saying about the money line and everything like that. We didn't look at any of the projections that Vegas is giving everybody. We kind of did that dry dog in it, huh?
Raw dog.
Well, it's a different thing. It's not based on Vegas. It's based on fantasy football. So Vegas odds don't really play into it.
So even more raw dogs.
Let's bring up the power rankings.
I will bring those up. Just give me 1 second.
Hey, he has to lock in he has to lock in our bets. He has to lock in our.
No, bets is fine. Oh no, we have to lock in our entry.
Lock in your entry, because it's not a bet; it's an entry.
Oh God. Okay, I got to do an ID process. Okay, let me bring up what you're asking for.
Yeah, mate. Let's just do that on that.
I thought it would be quick. I didn't know.
So here's the thing: like anything,
It's quicker than anything I've ever done. To be honest,
you just go through it the first time.
It's actually. I enjoy it, and I, you know what? Shout out to Underdog Fantasy for hooking us up
and having the entries based off of fantasy football is a cool new way of looking at entering.
Why not? They already did the work for you. You know, like you're not gonna unless you have a super special team. Fantasy football is such a big market maker.
Oh yeah.
Okay, who did we look at? NFL, right?
Yeah, we always rock the NFL. NFL Power Rankings, Week 3. Texans, Bills enter top 5. Surprising Saints vault 16 spots to number 8. Well, Eric Edholm, our kryptonite, Eric Edholm's back right now.
Lead draft writer.
You gave us so much info in the title. Like, sure, we're not fans of the Texans, Bills, or Saints, but if I was, I'd like to have a little bit of a surprise. He gave away that the Texans and Bills are in the top 5, and then told you the Saints got to number 8.
Look, Eric Edholm has always been
Eric.
He's always been an SEO ho, and he's always going to be an SEO ho.
Yeah.
He's trying to just fill his title with as much as he can.
Well, let's just get into this. What do you guys think for the Cowboys after that debacle from last week?
Okay,
and let's pick Ravens. Let's pick Cowboys and Ravens.
Okay, fair. Okay, I don't know where I'm actually going blind into this right now, so I'm going to need the title to help.
I'm gonna go Ravens 8.
Anthony,
you knew that, didn't you?
Okay, well,
the Saints are at 8. You missed the joke.
I added onto the joke. I like that I added onto the joke and you doxed me there.
Okay,
Saints. Or sorry, wait, Ravens and Cowboys. Cowboys are probably going to be 13th.
Oh, wow.
And Ravens are going to be like 11th.
You think after 0-2, you think they're going to be ahead of the Cowboys?
Yes.
Because people hate the Cowboys.
And the Cowboys lost in an embarrassing fashion.
So you said 11th for the Ravens, 13th for the Cowboys.
Yes.
Ad, what are you feeling?
Can I ask, what were the Cowboys last week? We don't know.
Don't know. I said we're flying blind, baby. We're flying blind.
AJ and I missed the power rankings last week. So
and it doesn't matter. Week 3 is probably a good time to start doing power rankings.
I agree.
Yeah, I think they're going to have the Cowboys ranked at like 14.
That's a good spot.
And I think the Ravens are going to be ranked probably 11. Did someone say 11 already for the Ravens?
Yeah, AJ, the only person that's done it.
11 and 13.
11 and 13. So I'll say 14 for the Cowboys, and then I'll say 10 for the Ravens.
I think the Cowboys are going to be ranked higher than the Ravens in my mind. Even though the Ravens are favorited, I'm going Cowboys. You said 13 and 14. I get defaulted to 15, I guess, and Ravens are 9.
Okay. So you say it
because they're not going to be. I don't think they're going to be
16.
further. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be further than what you guys said. So
let's get through it. I'm actually interested. I don't know who's number 1.
Chiefs. Yeah,
Chiefs always.
Yeah.
Well, they had a good win.
Barely beat.
Fun games. Yeah, Chiefs have been playing some fun games this season.
Chiefs. San Fran.
What?
They lost. They lost to the Vikings.
But without having Christian McCaffrey, they're still.
That's bullshit. You just lost to the Vikings. How are you still ranked 2?
Houston Texans. Fair enough.
I see that. They should be 2 in my mind.
That's true. I agree. At least Houston. You can't be
1. You can't be 2 and be 1 and 1.
No.
And if they're going to consider like CMC's out, and then they're looking like Deebo Samuels is also going to be out, like
that's bullshit.
They're going to have. Then we got the Bills.
Bills,
Lions,
shitty Eagles, 6. What?
Like they're 1-1. They should.
They lost to the Falcons.
And after that loss, that should have plummeted them even further.
Okay, I need a refresh.
They only
on our
dropped
picks.
down 2.
I need a refresh on our picks.
Well, we're going in blind.
Okay, let's just go.
You know,
no one knows who picked what.
I remember. What? I
Yeah,
got.
what you picked. You
sorry,
did-
11 Ravens, 13 Cowboys.
You did
I said
10, 14.
10,
and what
14.
the fuck did I say?
9-15.
That's okay.
We're 3 in a row.
Okay.
We're 3 best friends
Okay, we
sitting
have-
in a row on a bus.
Okay, gotcha. Los Angeles Chargers, they're 2-0. Respect.
Saints.
Respect.
Up 16 spots. That's wild.
Which the title told us. I appreciate. I mean, they're 2-0. They've scored the most points in the NFL. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair. Ravens 9.
Ravens are 9.
And
Told
got it.
you dirt. And I said they're not.
I don't think the Cowboys are going to be
0-2. 0-2 Ravens are 9.
And they've dropped 4 spots.
Explain that to me.
Yeah. Well, because the game that they lost against the Chiefs wasn't like a blowout game.
Don't care. You're 0-2. You're 0-2, man.
Lost by a toe tap.
Toe tap,
Lost.
and then they lost to the Raiders. Another thing before we move on from the Saints that I wanted to bring up when we were talking about something to beat them, the Ravens.
Yep.
The Ravens have given up 12 of 12, or every single play action deep pass over 25 yards, they've let be completed. 12 for 12 over any play action pass over 25 yards.
Which we haven't, and we didn't do a lot of play actions.
That's what I mean.
No, but we did do that stupid little Deuce Vaughn.
Yeah, like get Deuce Turpin out there 95 times.
Yeah.
See if that works.
Green Bay.
Yeah, makes sense. They had a good bounce back week with.
But how
Malik
can
Willis.
you do that when you know Willis is your quarterback for the next, 4 weeks?
Well, that's why we're putting him up at number 10.
Because they had a gutsy win, man. They
Malik
did win.
Malik Willis.
Yeah, Malik Willis.
Malik Willis.
You're like the substitute.
Willis.
You're like the substitute teacher from Key and Peele.
Except for it's Hillbilly.
Yeah.
Cowboys 11. Okay. Wow.
Hey, did I get both?
No, you said 9 and 15.
Okay, so who got 11? AJ.
No, AJ said 11 and 13.
I said 11
so he got the
13.
Cowboys.
I said 11
for the
Ravens, 13 Cowboys. None of us got Cowboys.
Okay, 11. Hey, respect.
Respect. Better than what all of us kind of thought.
One of you dirty little sons of bitches, read this out.
You can go ahead because it's kind of cut off for me there, AJ. You go for it.
Okay, one step forward, one big step backwards. The end of the Cowboys' regular season home winning streak, 16 games, felt a little anticlimactic to me, considering what the Packers did to Dallas at AT&T Stadium in the playoffs. But it's nonetheless stunning that a team that has been terrific in its own building for 2 years was throttled from the jump by the visiting Saints. You don't have to remind Cowboys fans that the team has a disastrous loss early last season, and that group ended up going 12-5
against the Cardinals.
But the defense looked worse than it did in almost any outing we saw a year ago, and I said this was probably the worst game I've ever seen the Cowboys play. The 49ers dismantled the boys last season, and the Saints' offense is a derivative of that type of system. Still, shouldn't it be concerning that this kind of scheme has given Dallas defense so much trouble? It worries me.
Well, do the Ravens play the same type of fucking offense as the Saints and the Niners? Because if they don't, then shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I don't think they're on the Shanahan tree.
I mean, guys, week 3. I've said this.
Say
if
it.
the Cowboys,
Say it again.
I'll spit it. Let me spit. B-Rabbit.
Let him say it. Let him say it.
I know what asked.
He's choking how? Everybody's choking now.
If the Cowboys have another,
His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. His vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti. He's nervous.
But the crowd looks calm and ready to drop bombs.
Guys, you're gonna get us flagged.
But
if you had,
okay, that's it.
If it's the rule of 3, right? If the Cowboys lose another game like they lost to the Saints in the first 5 weeks, then I'll be scared. Then I'll be nervous. Until then, I'm not scared. I'm not nervous.
Scared. You're not scared. I will apologize to Bandwagon Bob because as I was asking you guys about the power rankings, about where the Cowboys place, she lands in chat and she says 9th. So she clearly is following up on these things even when she's not watching her show. So I should have mentioned.
But she said 9th.
That's what they were the previous week. Because I was like, what were they last week?
I
And
see.
they dropped 3 spots.
2.
3 spots.
So they were 8th last week.
They were 8th.
Then I can't do math. So she said 9th. So guess what? I don't know.
Or she was just guessing.
Or she could have been guessing.
I think it was a guess.
Oh, and then Jenkins says 8th, I thought. Okay. Well, anyways.
Yeah.
Still, I
Let
want to
them
just
battle it out in chat.
I just want to apologize because sometimes Bandwagon Baba puts it in there. She's here every single week, and I don't bring her comments out.
Shout out to Bandwagon Baba.
And then sometimes when I do bring her comments out, Anth attacks both Mom and I.
Well, guys, we got a football game.
Hopefully one that the Cowboys are going to win. We got to get our boldies and our score predictions.
Oh, right.
And fucking Bandwagon Boy won the first main event he's been at in the last. This is your first. I'm blaming. Hallelujah. I'm blaming you for the loss last week, Adam.
I feel like shit.
And you should. So
back,
you're
though.
leading out. You're leading out with at least the score prediction. Or boldy, whichever one
Let's
you feel
just
more
score
comfortable.
bolds. Double it down.
Oh, both?
Yeah, fuck
okay,
it.
just do it. Just say both of them.
Fuck it.
Okay, so I think in terms of what Anth was talking about and getting shit from you guys about how I took the easy way out and I talked about defense in our game. I'm gonna go.
That was AJ, by the way. I never said that.
I'm gonna go with my.
I never said that you took the easy way out.
I'm gonna go with my.
I said it was obvious.
But hey, actually, now I remember two sound bites that I gotta get.
Good time.
Yeah, I have to. Okay, so 40. We're gonna get a 40 burger. Our first 40 burger of the season is gonna be on the against the Ravens. We're coming off an embarrassing.
Is this your boldy?
Yeah. No, this is my score prediction. And you know what? It could.
I think 40 burger against the Ravens is
40,
a boldy.
40 burgers, it could be a boldy as well. So I think we're gonna see Dallas at 41, and then the Ravens are gonna be 35.
Jeez,
that's a high scoring game.
That is a high scoring game. Very high scoring game.
And I guess my boldy is that the Cowboys get the first 40 burger of the season,
Which I do think's bold. If the Cowboys put up a 40, I think that can be your score prediction and your boldy. To be honest,
we've not seen any. I mean, unless
There's
Aubrey gets 34 points kicking.
Aubrey with 10 field goals.
Yeah.
AJ, do you want to roll?
Sure. Okay. Well, I will. I'm going to go a little bit more modest than Adam. I'm going to go 21-17. Cowboys, naturally.
Ops.
And then what am I going to do? I'm going to say CeeDee Lamb is going to have he's going to have a big game. He's going to go for I'm debating between 10, 11 or 12 receptions. I'm going to go 10 receptions because I got to make this somewhat reasonable. 10 receptions, 150 yards. And just to make it extra special, 2 touchdowns. Now, those could be 1 passing and 1 rushing.
Yeah, because he's been getting some of those jet sweeps.
And that 150 yards is total yards.
Okay. Yep.
Is that bold?
Yeah. We can go total yards because he had 3 jet sweeps a couple weeks ago. So
that's right.
And he had 20 yards for him. So you can stack and pack. So you went to what? 21-17 was your score?
21-17 Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb, 10 receptions, 150 total yards. Over 150 total yards, and then 2 touchdowns.
And added 41-19?
41-35.
Oh, yeah, you did 30. Holy shit, that'd be a crazy game. That's a game, eh? I'm all for that.
I want that game.
You know there's a screenshot happening if that game happens.
Fuck yeah. Shit. I'm already looking at that. I'm like, in my mind, I was going to say, we're going to see a special teams touchdown. We're going to see a defensive touchdown. We're going to see
just be happy it's not a 10 a.m. game.
You brought the screech on.
Okay, so my score prediction, I'm going to fall somewhere in between you guys a little bit because AJ kind of went on the low side. Ad went fucking barn burner for sure. Cowboys. 20. Cowboys. 31.
Okay, I like that.
Cowboys 31. Ravens 17.
Oh, I like that score.
20. No, so 31-20.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going Ravens 20 points. Get a couple field goals. Justin Tucker, another battle that we didn't talk about. Justin Tucker versus Brandon Aubrey, the two best kickers.
They're just staring each other down the whole time.
And a little side quest here.
Blink, you son of a bitch. Blink.
Brandon Aubrey, 12 for 12 and kicks over 50 yards to start his career. And Justin Tucker, after he missed his kick last week for over 50, he's like 1-5 in the last 2 years for kicks over 50. So just a little side quest. And then my bold prediction is, so Brandon Aubrey had 4 field goals in game 1. We're just talking strictly field goals. 4 field goals in game 2. Brandon Aubrey doesn't kick a single field goal in week 3.
Wow.
That's your bold?
That's my bold.
I don't mind that one either. If he doesn't have to kick a field
That's
goal.
a good thing.
But he's going to get points.
I hope he has 8 point afters.
And that doesn't align with your score.
What was my score?
31-20.
Hey, man.
But sometimes you do it.
Sometimes
I love it.
Sometimes you got to throw a couple darts at that board to hit the bullseye, but baby. So.
Sometimes you gotta do it.
Sometimes I'm in my feelings.
Sometimes I don't.
Well, chat, you can throw your score predictions in this chat or come join us on Sunday.
I got one more question from chat that I said I would ask once we're done this segment. This is from Billy Billionaire. He's a Saints fan. He subbed to us.
Appreciate it.
He had a question earlier on that I didn't get to. He said, question for y'all. Do y'all think Saints score over 40 on the Eagles?
I
hope so.
I really do hope.
I mean, Jenkins was very more direct on that. He says, yes, Eagles defense is trash.
4 or 3 games back to back 40 burgers.
Yeah, that's a bold prediction right there.
The Saints are legit if that happens.
And
not saying they're not legit right now, but if the Saints can put up 40 points on the Eagles after doing against Carolina and the Dallas Cowboys, if you have 3 games of 40 points, your offense is buzzing.
Yeah, and Triple B, aka Baby Billy Billionaire.
Baby Billy Billionaire.
Great handle.
Great handle. Come join us this Sunday, unless your Saints are playing.
When are the
Cowboys
Saints
game?
playing?
Not sure.
But morning game.
Morning game. So after you're nice and cooked, hopefully you're feeling good. Because I actually do hope that the Saints have a rolling offense, so it takes a little pressure off them boys.
If they can put up 40 points on the Eagles, I'll be like, yeah, the Saints are just super legit this year.
And then Boots wants to say, can we talk about how Anth with his wasted CMC pick is still doing better than the bandwagon boys on our fantasy league? Boots is 2-0. Let's go.
Shut up, Boots. We're in learning phase right now.
Rebuild mode. We're just trying to make it so one of our teams doesn't win year 3 of the Can Fantasy League. All right, guys, we will be live 1 hour before the Dallas Cowboys host the Baltimore Ravens this week at AT&T Stadium. They're 0-2. Cowboys are 1-1. I know it's only week 3, but this is a big game for both squads. If you want to come hang out with us, come on by. We're going to be doing it an hour before. And if you know a Baltimore Ravens fan,
I do, and he's going to Dallas to watch the game.
Is he?
For his birthday? So every time something happens to Dallas, he always sends me those effing memes.
He's going there to watch the game.
He's going to Dallas this weekend to watch his Ravens play against our Cowboys.
Well, this is perfect. This is for him. How about you go ahead and go fuck yourself?
Woo!
Hardest out in the biz, baby.
Sunday.
Sunday.
How about them Cowboys, baby?